Hello everyone, welcome to the Chinese language Learn Cantonese Verbs for Beginners Basic Verbs 1. If you have not done so already, I highly recommend you to download our mobile app called Cantonese Phrases Beginners 1. This app contains flashcards, quizzes, lecture notes for various learning modules that pertains to the very beginner in the Cantonese language. The app is completely free and it works on both iPhone and Android. Now, the first one that we're going to talk about in this lesson is to eat. So, to eat, as you see on the kanji to the left, the pronunciation is sek. Again, the pronunciation for this Cantonese verb is sek. So, as you see on the English representation of this Cantonese pronunciation is more or less S-I-K, which is kind of sounds similar to the word sick, like being sick in English, but with a lower tone on the I. So again, the pronunciation for this Cantonese verb would be sick. So examples. Well, as you can see, I've provided two examples here, which one of them is sek fan, which is eating rice, or also you can actually call it eating meals, because usually meal would be related to this kanji as well, which is fan. And the other example is called sek zhou chan. So what zhou chan is breakfast. So this sentence means eating breakfast. If there is a verb for eating, of course that we would also have the verb for drinking in Cantonese. So for the verb drinking, we would pronounce yam. So again, the pronunciation for the Cantonese verb for to drink is yam, which is quite similar to when kids say that they really like some of the food that they eat. They would say yummy or yum yum. Is kind of very similar. So again, the pronunciation for this Cantonese verb would be yum. Examples, as you can see, there's again two. The first one is called yam zhao, which zhao means wine. So yam zhao means drink wine. And the second one is yam shui. So the word shui, which is the second word of that sentence, means water. So the overall that sentence means drink water. To ask. For Cantonese pronunciation of the verb to ask, let's say asking questions, it is pronounced man. Again, the pronunciation for the Cantonese verb of to ask is man. So an example, which is probably kind of confusing for you right now. The Cantonese phrase for question is actually called man tai, in which one of the kanji in there is actually the same as the verb of to ask. So in this example, we have something called man tai, which means ask question. Now, for the verb of to buy, the pronunciation for for this Cantonese verb is my. Again, the pronunciation of the verb to buy in Cantonese is my. So as you see on the English alphabet representation on the right hand side, we would like you to pronounce MA first, which is ma, ma, and then followed with the sound of I, which is E. So if we pronounce it so slowly, it is ma-i, ma-i, and then we would like you to progress faster on this pronunciation. So if you pronounce this faster, it would be my, which is what the pronunciation for the Cantonese verb of to buy. So examples. Some of the examples that I provided is, let's say, my high, where high is shoes. So this sentence means to buy shoes. And the second one, I think I have already said this phrase before, which is DNC, which is television in Cantonese. So overall, the bottom example, which is my DNC, means to buy TV. To learn, the verb to learn in Cantonese is pronounced as học. Again, the verb for to learn in Cantonese is pronounced học, which is quite similar to what you see in English for the animal hawk. Just lower the sound of the K in the end a bit, and it would sound pretty similar to what the Cantonese pronunciation học for the verb to learn. So the examples would be học玩, which means learn how to play, and học會說話, which means learn how to speak. Now, as you've seen, we is actually another verb, another kanji for the verb to can, but in this case, it's more of like a phrase. 會說話 means how to speak. As I said, like it's very hard to learn languages if you are trying to always make one-to-one translations between languages. So these are some of the stuff that it cannot really be directly translated from Cantonese to English. So and then this occurs a lot when you are learning this language. The verb to love is pronounced oi. So the pronunciation for the verb to love in Cantonese is oi. So English representation, well, so first pronounce the O first, which is and then the OY, which is oi, oi, and then the last one again is pronounced E, like the double E for people or P, so E, and then in this case, if we pronounce this slowly, is oi. So if we pronounce it faster, it'll be oi. An example would be ngoi bei, which means I love you, or ngoi means bao. So in this case, which is I love bread. Now, this is, in my opinion, it would be a weird one if you're trying to make a direct translation from from Cantonese to English, and this is the verb of to make or to repair. So first of all, the pronunciation of this verb is called 整, 整, which I think the best alphabet representation would be tsing, which is 整, but we're lowering on the ing sound, so it would be more of like 整, 整, where ing would be like ing instead of ing. Now, this verb would be more or less leaning towards to repair, like the examples I provide for 整車, which means repairing a car, or 整屋, which means repairing the house. But you would also have 整蛋糕, which 蛋糕 means cake, but that is not repairing a cake. It's actually called making a cake. So there are exceptions of that. Instead of repairing, it might be making. But in some cases, like let's say building a house or making something, you might have other verbs associated with it depending on what you're making. So again, this is one of those exceptions that you might need to accommodate when you are trying to learn this language. The verb to do. So let's say doing homework, doing chores, doing stuff. In Cantonese, the verb to do is pronounced 做. Again, the pronunciation of the verb to do in Cantonese is 做. Now, for alphabet representation, I've chose TSOU. So TSO would be 做, 做, with the letter U at the end. So slowly it would be 做, 做. If you pronounce it faster, it would be 做, 做. Now examples would be 做功課, which means doing homework. So 功課 is homework in Cantonese, or 做家務, which you see in the last example that I have here, which 家務 means chores, so house chores. So this verb is usually anything associated with. Last verb in this lesson. So this is the verb to listen. So listening music, listening to a tape, listening to CD, you would use this verb. So in Cantonese, for the verb to listen is 聽. Again, the pronunciation for the verb of to listen is 聽. So let's look at the alphabet representation. So what I choose is a TE, which I would like you to pronounce it as te, te, and then with the word in at the end. So if you pronounce it slowly, it will be te in, and if you pronounce it faster, it will be tang, 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 like TANG also, but with emphasizing the in at the end. And then it will be very close pronunciation, which is tang. As I said, as an example, listening to music, which is tang音樂, which 音樂 is music in Cantonese. So if you want to say listening to music, it will be 聽音樂 in Cantonese. This concludes our lecture. Thank you for your listening. Remember, like us or subscribe to our channel for more updates on our lecture materials. Also, download our free app for your iPhone or Android if you have not already done so, for flashcards and quizzes that are related to this lecture. Also check out our website as shown in our video description on YouTube for apps and lectures for other units. Thank you.